You're going to copy that. It feels kind of the same. I mean, the music, right? It's me. It's not quite the same effect as having an iPad. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy to have actual sound, though. What do you guys think of the studio? It's not done, but it sure is better than the last time, yeah? Let's do a couple things before we really get going. I'd like to know if the sound levels seem okay. Is my mic too hot? And then I'd love it if you guys would chat a little bit. I want to see if I can see any chat, because right now I don't see anything. I don't really know how to find that. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. I'd love to know who's here. All right. I got another song I've been super excited about. Hey, Chloe, can you see any chat?
A good old-fashioned rocker.
So I'm just not seeing the chat. Sorry, guys. I mean, if I don't see the chat, that's going to be a moment. Sweet. I don't know, maybe play around. What about these little guys? Over here. Different screens. Sweet, the chat's there. We'll figure it out. A lot of cool options. Don't really know how to use any of them yet. All right, we're gonna call that the end of the music part of this. There's gonna be a little bit of like figuring out things, obviously. When I end screen share, maybe it'll bring up chat. Nope. All right, well, at least I can scroll down and see it, which is cool. Moxie, hello. Click you in. Is that how this works? I just click you in? I don't know about that. What is if I click show, it might show you. Are you ready? You've got clothes on, right? James, amigo, ¿qué estás haciendo, güey? If I click, oh, I can block the user. I can put you in timeout. Better watch out, Rich Flood. I'll put you right on timeout. How you feeling, James? I assume better today, yeah? I'm clicking you in, Rich. I want to see what happens. Oh, no. I just got rid of your chat. That's all that was. Okay. If anybody is feeling so inclined, obviously you don't have to do this, but we'd love to pull some TikTok people in to the live. So until we get the other account up to where we can actually stream it, we're going to have that other account's going to be a renegade account. I'm done being afraid, and I'm done trying to choose my words. Or just get up there, get in trouble, get blasted, start over, right? That's the plan. So cheers to cancel culture. I kind of want to show you guys the rest of this room. It's very Hollywood right now. It looks pretty good looking this way, like an unfinished room looking that way, but I'll have to send him the link. Okay. Oh, it's up and down, yeah. Well, we'll keep praying for you, brother. There's a few of us dealing with stuff. I know yours is more serious than some of ours, but it's been a really heavy week. It was a week ago today that my account was banned on TikTok, and then shortly after that, CPT was banned. Then toothaches and COVID and Lyme disease and a myriad of other things kind of came and hit us all. And I'm not really surprised. I don't know what's going on, but I know multiple people were um, called to fast. Multiple people were dreaming. Multiple people were dreaming about rapture events, and I was talking to Steph, and we've all had this feeling. Let me know if you guys feel the same way, but that time is somehow like picking up pace. You know, you get going, and then next thing you know, you're in bed again. And I don't know what's going on with that, but it's almost like I'm not a big Mandela effect guy, but it's almost like something's changed, like a variable has changed. So I don't know exactly how it works in the spiritual, but I know there's a connection. I'm going to stall for just a couple more minutes. Probably 9:15 we'll get going for sure. In the meantime, if we could try and share this, that's going to be the big challenge, I think, with the new format is constantly getting people in here from wherever else. So if there's a way to copy this and share it with anybody, text messaging, whatever. There's a few people that are new to Discord. Do we have the Discord link up, Chloe? Sure, we probably do. It's going to take me a little bit of time instead of just talking at the phone, figuring this interface out. But I don't have a way to practice really that I can figure out. So it's going to be a little bit of touch and go today, but you'll be there for the first episode. That's always a good time. All right. So the account, the second account has a few views, which is good. If you guys wouldn't mind sharing that, that'd be awesome. Discord is cooking. All right. So I'm going to be done doing any of that kind of stuff. How's everybody feeling? How's just in general? Is there like a malaise? Are you excited? Are you just quick feedback? Again, I'm stalling a little bit, but I want to know. I know where I'm at. I want to see how everybody else is. If you're wanting to bring people on screen, you can copy the link in the comments and then do what with it? Oh, yeah. I talked to Steph. Tornado for sure. Thank you, Lord, for being with her. Okay. I guess last question. I'm feeling heavy. I text you. I want prayer. Oh, did you? Yeah, it's heavy. That's why I'm asking. Like, it just feels, so much of the last year has been up and down for a lot of us, mostly downs, I think, with COVID and how that's affected everybody. Um, but this week, it's been a week exactly. Tonight at in about an hour from now, we're going to be 7 days exactly removed from when the live went down, and I feel like when you watch Lord of the Rings or these other movies, um, where the good is fighting the evil. There's always the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs. And I'll never forget when that Tim, Jesus is God, Jesus is Lord guy, when he got on TikTok, it reminded me of when the trees came to fight in the Lord of the Rings. And I was like, wow, we have help. We know we have the reinforcements, and he's so strong. And then he was banned, and then he was off, and then he was on. And then he shared my Shroud video and then got banned. So however the connection was there. And then um, I get banned. And then CPT shared my video. Then he got banned. So I don't know. It's there's a connection between us all, and the connection that you're going to see as we talk about this tonight is representing the truth in a world system built on lies. Yeah, we have been. So the message for tonight is, how did we get here? Here. And maybe that's part of the reason for me being kind of down, because it's really heavy. And as much as I want to rally the troops and go, here it is, you guys, we're gonna win. If you've read the book, it's got the beginning, the middle, and the end, and we know how it ends. And it seems increasingly like we're in that time. There was a little bit of hope. I'm not a pre-trib guy, you guys know that, but there was a little bit of hope there that there was going to be a pre-trib raptured. It was this last weekend, and that didn't happen. And I think there's a lot of, like, talking with A10, it's like, well, we're here, we didn't get the express ticket out of here. And I feel like as I try and find resolution with this discussion tonight, the answer is going to be choosing God at all costs. That's what it seems like we're headed. So the attack is strong because we're getting towards the end, enemy giving us all he has. Yeah, that's right, Ashley. Moxie. I don't know if I want to call you Ashley or Moxie. So I went back to Genesis because that's obviously where this story begins. And this isn't going to be like news to you guys in here. People that watch it down the road, it might be. But basically, God made this reality. This is what we believe. And the devil fairly immediately started tinkering, twisting, and trying to undo God's plan for us. If you remember what the serpent said to Eve, let me go back just a little bit. This whole conversation is going to be what God said and what we're supposed to do, and what the devil tells us, which is kind of what's happening, unfortunately. So, in the beginning, God spoke this reality into existence. He built the earth first, and then he built out from the earth, right? That's what we believe by reading the book. And when you even say that to someone, like if you said to the vast majority of the people in the world right now that the earth was the first thing in the universe, I don't think they take that very well because they don't particularly believe that, because we were told a counterfeit version. Okay. God said he made the planet that we're on and then built out from there. And the devil says the universe created itself. So God's out of the picture, and the earth just happened to come into form through some space-time matter conflagration, right? Have you guys ever thought about planet formation, like via the Big Bang? Have you ever really thought about that? Have you ever thought about, their story is all of the dust or whatever came out of this Big Bang. And then through gravity, it just glommed together. They came up with this word, this fairy tale word in their fairy tale story called glomming, and the planets glommed together. I want you to imagine being in space, and we each have a handful of dust, okay? And you and I are 10 feet apart, and I want us to throw the dust at each other's dust and have it stick together. Right? That doesn't make any sense. And then that keeps sticking together. Then you get a planet. And then this planet, I mean, if you're a flat earther, I know this is different, but this is the story they tell you, whatever. The planet over time becomes perfectly spherical. No erosion, nothing to really cause this. It just forms into this perfect planet, right? Doesn't make any sense. So this is what we're told about how the earth came into existence. We're in the corner of the universe somewhere. The universe created itself, blah, blah, blah. So at the beginning, we have to decide, do we believe what God said or what we're taught? And that's this whole conversation all the way down to where I think this is the end decision that we're going to have to make, or maybe we're making currently, even depending on where you're at in the vaccine discussion. But it's constantly, God said this, and we're offered a synthetic anti what God said version, okay? So the serpent, when he came to Eve, God said, enjoy each other, enjoy this place. You never have to work a day in your life. You're going to live forever. Just don't eat from the tree, right? And the serpent comes down, and the serpent says, hey, Eve, this is important. We could do a whole lesson on the fact that the serpent came to Eve first. He didn't go to Adam. He came to Eve because he knew that Adam would do whatever Eve did. Very Romeo and Juliet, what happened there. I love the idea that Adam knew that Eve was going to die and didn't want to be on the earth without her. So he ate the apple so he would die too. Which, in my opinion, is why epigenetically, the Romeo and Juliet story carries so much weight. This idea of the guy being like, I can't live without you. He lived without her. He knew what it was like without her. She's going to die. He eats the apple. He's going to die too. How did he get her to eat the apple? What did he say to her? Two major things. I know you guys know this, but he said, why aren't you going to eat the apple? Because God said I couldn't. And he said, did God really say that? Right? Did God really say that? You question God's word. That's lie number one, which we were just talking about, how the planet formed and the version that God said versus the version that the devil sold us. And the number two thing he said to Eve was, God's just afraid. He doesn't want you to eat this apple because he knows that if you do, that the day you eat it, you will become like him. Right? So these are the two lies. I almost want them like on a sticky board up here. I should do that. I should write and put it here. Did God say you can be God? And this whole conversation of how we got here boils down to those two lies, okay? So, the theory of evolution. If for nothing else, which there's multiple reasons why they're teaching the theory of evolution, multiple reasons why. It destroys the timeline of the Bible, okay? By science's admonition, 13 billion years is probably not enough time for nothing to become everything, for dust to turn into DNA, DNA to turn into these other things to morph and gel and blah, 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 and become what we are. So evolution. Did God make us individually and put us in the garden? Or did this whole theory happen? And if that theory happened, it took 13 billion years. So did God say, right? You can test. This is going to be number 2. I almost need a 1 and a 2. Did God say that? Did God really? Can you trust God's word, right? Bingo. Another reason it's really important for the theory of evolution to be taught is you can be like God. So the theory of evolution hits the 2 check marks that the devil used against Eve. You can be like God, because people don't necessarily know this with evolution, but the idea is we are evolving toward godhood. We are going to be like God, right? As we get better every year. By the way, we're not getting better every year. We're getting worse, right? Adam and Eve lived 1,000 years and were maybe 14 feet tall. And this egregious lie that we were indoctrinated to believe is all of our history. You know, they say that those who forget or don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. This is our history. This is our history. Where man came from. That's Bob. Very profound, Bob. Where we came from. What's going to happen to us. This is our history. And so a very easy way to control the population is to create an alternative history, or only tell the history that you want, that the enemy wants for us to believe, which is what is happening here with this theory of evolution. So Adam and Eve eat the apple, right? They move on with their lives. They're cursed. God sacrifices an animal, puts them in clothes, and they spread out from the garden, right? What did God tell them to do? He told them to be fruitful and multiply, right? That was the goal. Go into the entire earth and have a bunch of children. Populate the earth. And this is why the narrative of climate change and urbanization. God says, go into all the earth and have a bunch of children. And the enemy says, the earth made you. You're the enemy of the earth. There's too many of you. You need to stop having children, and you need to go into the city, be connected to the grid. Now, I know this isn't news to you guys, but as we go down this list, the idea of what I want to talk about is, how did we get here? And part of what I mean by here is on YouTube tonight. Why am I not on TikTok? Why is a good friend of mine who I talk to, who's kind of an insider, who has done huge events for the elites, why did he just have to forfeit his entire career because he didn't receive the vaccine his whole life that he's worked on? Why? We didn't get here overnight. It's been thousands of years in the making. And based on how I understand it going, this is exactly what the plan was going to be. And it ends up getting to a point where, just like God had to do with the flood and did again with Babel, that he has no choice but to judge us. And, you know, if you're watching this and you're like, this guy's a conspiracy theorist, why is he talking about this? Because the ultimate conspiracy is that this reality is a battle between good and evil, between God and the devil. The ultimate conspiracy is that the entire world system is ran by men who have pledged allegiance to the devil. People that don't understand 9/11 and Kennedy being shot on 11/22 and, you know, any COVID being released. If you're looking at this and you're like, why would this happen? Why would this happen? And you disallow the potentiality of this being this cosmic chess match that Lele Marzulli called. You just don't understand the situation. And in a time such as this, we have to be bold. And we have to start saying that this is exactly what the book said. We're living out the book. We're living out the book. It's like the never-ending story. We're in the never-ending story. And we're Atreyu. And Bob is the luck dragon. Clearly, you heard Bob. I'm going to ride him around here in a minute. Bob Treyu. All right, so where do we leave off? God tells Adam and Eve to go around the whole earth. Be fruitful, multiply. I'm going to stop. I'll get back to that, but I'm going to hopefully have a discussion with Hyperhumanity. Right before I got banned, I was working on a live. I was talking to him on his live about it. And he's really mad. Everybody's really mad at the Abrahamic religions, right? Nobody's mad at Buddha or Buddhism or Hindu, Mahabharata, Raji, whatever. They're just mad at the Abrahamic religions. And why? Because the Gary Oldman character in the book of Eli knew that in order to control the world, he had to control the Bible. He had to get the Bible. He knew that guy that I was telling you about, that's a very secular left guy. We were talking the other day, and out of nowhere, he brought up the book of Eli. He's like, it's like we're in the book of Eli. And I said, you have no idea how much it's like that. And he goes, yeah, they're controlling the information. I said, yeah, but what book were they trying to get? To this guy I was telling him, what book was Gary Oldman trying to get? And he goes, the book of Eli? And I said, the Bible, John, the Bible. Can you understand that? I know you get that. But I'm not on TikTok right now because Gary Oldman hates me. Just kidding. The Gary Oldman character, the serpent, knows that he has to have the Bible in his pocket in order to control this reality because it's the book. It's the book. It creates this reality. It was, is, and will be. It represents God. It's God in the flesh. On the pages. It's beautiful. Anyways, so I want to talk with the most ardent atheist, especially if they're a conspiracy theorist, and say, why do these people want to force children to be vaccinated? Why do they want to cover our children's faces with masks? Why do they want us to receive these questionable medicines? That's the end of this talk. I'll get there in a minute. Okay, so back to what Adam and Eve were supposed to do. Adam and Eve were supposed to go around the whole earth and multiply, fill the earth with their children. And the devil says the opposite, right? The inverse. You're going to hear a lot of that's the inverse of this. It's the repurposing of God's order. God says do this, the devil says do that, over and over and over and over and over and over and over, right? So they don't listen to God and they start getting back together. And they create a one world government. Does it sound familiar? So, you tell me a book that's 3,500 years old that warns of creating a one world government under the devil to bring in the judgment of God. Tell me another book, 3,500-year-old book that talks about this. There isn't one. Spoiler. All right, so the devil wanted to be like God, right? The devil can't be God. He came to the earth and he has been playing God, right? The God of this earth kind of thing. The world system, obviously, which is what the temptation Jesus had. You know, he's run around and gotten man to worship him, serve him, so on and so forth. Well, before the flood, he created this exact world system that we're heading into. He created transhumanism. He created the Nephilim, the human animal, human angel hybridization. He created a global scientific tyranny. And God wiped it out through the flood, which is proven over and 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 over is a real thing that happened. Geologically, anthropologically, archaeologically. The videos that were shared on Discord today that myself and the newcomer, forget his name, he won't give me his real name, but his whatever screen name is, we were looking at some of the videos and just explains everything. It explains the fossil record so well. I know you know this, but if Bob here, wherever Bob is, Bob the Luck Dragon, what is the Luck Dragon's name? Well, whatever. If Bob the Luck Dragon cat died outside right now, right? And he fell over dead, would he just stay there in one piece? No. He would decompose. Ravens would grab his decomposing arm. Coyotes would grab his carcass. Bob wouldn't just die there and he would just have a skeleton outside. It's just not how it works. God made all these little cleanup crew, these little nanobot cleanup crews, and they come out. Valcor, thank you. And they dismantle the carcass. It's what they do. But Bob would never become a fossil. Sorry, Bob. Sorry, Bob Falcor. He would never become a fossil. He would just cease to exist. So why do we have fossils? Because the flood happened. And all of those animals were encapsulated in the surging mud flows. Anyways, the flood happened. And it happened because man, under the tutelage of the devil, repurposed God's order. All the time it's man listening to the devil that causes the problem, right? If he just would have ignored the serpent, what in the hell was she doing by the tree? Anyways, this is what we do, right? We always make this mistake. We listen to the devil. And anybody who wants to be critical of Adam and Eve knows darn well that they would have done the same thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So the one world system happens. God wipes it into the ocean, which is where we get the story of Atlantis. And so I did that series on TikTok about the flood. Manly P. Hall, who's a Satanist who doesn't have any reason to validate the Bible and say, oh, yeah, this flood destroyed a one world government. They just know the true history. They know the history from the Egyptian priests who were had surviving documents or whatever, right? He said, yes, Atlantis was a global, what did he call it? Well, whatever, a global event, a global citizenry, a citizen group of like-minded individuals who were united under Lucifer as Lucifer was repurposing God's order. So he wipes it out. So then what happens? A couple generations later, Babylon, right? Babylon's the same thing. Nimrod is becoming, through some sort of magic ritual, he's becoming a Gibborim. He's becoming a Nephilim. And he starts doing the same thing. He brings everybody into the city of Babylon and he builds a tower. And God's like, wow, doing this again, huh? And he didn't want to judge the earth again, so he just confounded their languages. And all these pockets went out into the earth and kept this pagan tradition alive and this mystery religion alive by telling the story and doing the same kind of things, making trees and cutting trees down and decorating them and worshiping the phallus symbol, which was Nimrod, and the wreath, which is the ovum, which we've talked about before, and just perpetuating this mystery religion, right? Over and over and over and over and over and over again. So we go from Babylon to Jesus's time, and Jesus is on the earth, and he outwitted Jesus, and God outwitted the devil, no surprise. And the devil is not sure if Jesus is the Messiah. He thinks he is. He's not sure, though. He keeps asking him questions. Are you it? Right? He had this clever disguise of being all human. But he was doing these things, and the devil's like, yeah, this guy's probably the real deal. We got to kill him, right? Well, before he did, he offered him a position in his cabinet. Come work for me, and I will make you ruler over this entire world, right? Same thing again. Come work for me. You can run this world system with me, and I'll make you ruler over the whole dynasty. He declined. Obviously, he had bigger things to do. Although I love the idea of, since Jesus hadn't sinned, would he have lived forever? He might still be there, not aging, not dying. Anyways, I'm getting through where I need to go, which is how did we get here specifically? All of this is important. Hello, Chip and JR. Nice to see you. I tried to stall. You're kind of in the middle of it, but it's all right. I'll have it on YouTube as well. Yeah, it's alive, and in theory, I can see your guys' messages. And when we get this right, in theory, we can have basically the same thing we were having on TikTok. And a big part of it, Chip, if you want to, no pressure. If any of you guys, Amanda, I don't think you're at 1,000. Rich, if anybody has the ability to film this and put it on a TikTok live, that would be awesome. And then if people ask, show them how to get here, because we'll still do the TikTok lives, but I'm pretty sure now that we've got the studio more done, we're going to do this format, and I'm just going to film the TikTok live, and we're going to keep bringing people over here because TikTok isn't an option. And really, YouTube isn't either. I'll get 3 strikes there eventually. I have a guideline violation already, actually. So this goes through the what this needs to be as VOR radio, where I do a show, Chip does a show, Rich does a show, and we're starting to build that platform. And as it happens, today's the first day. And does anybody want to tell me what the date is? I love this. Go ahead and type out the date for me. And I want to grab something that God gave us to encourage us in this operation. So write out the date. I'll be right back. I got to show you this. So we bad boy, what you gonna do? Chloe and I've had a tough couple days, just processing this whole thing. I didn't realize the account was fully banned until yesterday. Anyways, yep, 10101010. You know, I'm a simulation guy. I couldn't have chose a better date to launch VOR radio than 1010, except for 1010 2010, but that was 11 years ago, and I don't think I was ready for this, though. So yeah, this is it. This is the pilot episode of VOR radio, and we're going to be doing this with other people. I'm excited to watch it grow. I'm excited to be here for the first show. So we woke up. I didn't sleep great. Chloe, we were both freaking out last night. Went to bed. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? And this is the Bible app verse that was on Chloe's phone this morning. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. And then she wrote the date. That's what I needed. So check this out. You ready? Did I not tell you? Have I not told you to do this? Right? Satan says, did God say? God says, have I not told you? Have I not told you what to do? I gave you the instructions, O ye of little faith. Be strong. Right? Being strong is the opposite of being weak. Muy fuerte, right? Be strong. And of a good courage, right? Of a good courage. Strong and of a good courage. Not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. That kind of sounds like it's redundant, right? All these different things. Be strong, be of a good courage, don't be afraid, don't be dismayed. It seems like it's being redundant, right? It's not. Watch this. Be of a good courage. Optimism. I believe this is going to work out. You know why? Because God said it was going to work out. That's why I believe it's going to work out. Because God said it's going to work out. I don't get it. He said it, and I believe him, right? So I'm not going to be like this. I'm sad. I'm going to be of good courage. I'm excited, right? I'm not afraid. You know that fear creates. Fear and faith are both creative forces. What you believe will happen. Okay? Amanda shared a video on the Discord about the elephant, and it's a very easy thing. As a golf pro, I've given other examples, but if I say to you, don't think of an elephant, obviously an elephant pops in your brain. That's the only thing that can happen there. You can't not think of an elephant when I say that. It's impossible. Don't think of an elephant. elephant. If I say, think of a chicken, thinking of a chicken and not the elephant, right? Don't be afraid, because if you are, it's going to create that reality. Don't be dismayed. That's anxiety, right? Don't be afraid. Don't have anxiety. Be of a good courage. Be excited, and be not afraid. It's so important. You're one or the other. We're in this binary existence. We're in this 1 and 0 reality. It's 1 or 0. It's just how this works. It's 1 or 0. It's yes or no. If you're afraid, you're not of a good courage. Just you can't be, because you're afraid. You're too busy being afraid. If you're of good courage, you can't be anxious, right? Whatever. I know we know this. So it's really encouraging that God gave us that word. For the Lord thy God is with thee wherever you go. And then 1010. So welcome to Voice of Reasons Radio. And if God is willing and the creek don't rise, we're going to do this every night, except for tomorrow, because I've got the Patreon live. And Saturday, Friday night, because we're not going to do it on Sabbath, because we're not going to put anybody to work. So, amen. And it's not like Chloe woke up and was like, I want to be edified. It was like, bling. The living word of God happening in real time. It's happening in real time. So God is good. So I want you all to believe. I know it's going to be weird at first. Eventually it'll be on TikTok and here. And then eventually we're going to have hundreds and hundreds of people on here. And we're going to discuss philosophy, theology, and conspiracy. That's the whole thing. All right. So where were we? So the devil came to Jesus and he said, come work for me and I'll make you the ruler over this whole land. Which means that the devil runs the land. Obviously not the earth, but the world system, the world inside of it, the political, economic, media, the information stream. He controls the information stream. Obviously, Yeshua declined. And some really important things come of this. Did Satan just take over the reins at some point? He's like, oh, nobody else is running the show. No. He ran it from the start. He was the one running the show. He was the engine behind the Babylon incident. He was the engine behind the Great Flood judgment. He's constantly repurposing God's reality unto judgment. And that's where it ends every time. It ends in judgment, and that's where we're going. Okay. So after Jesus, we have a little bit of a lull. Well, not really. Now we get into like modern history. But what ends up happening, sorry if that was loud, is we pick the story back up around the time of the Crusaders, where the Knights Templar ran around. Do you remember me talking about the Knights Templar and how that happened? I don't know if I need to go into the full thing or not. But basically, they were the CIA. The Knights Templar were the CIA of the European banking system. And the devil told this group, the Freemasonic group, which was more of the governmental structure, if you remember the chessboard analogy from the other day, it's the king and the queen, and then the bishops, and then the knights, and then the rooks. The bishops are the religious representation, and the knights are the intelligence. And the Knights Templar, there you go. Didn't expect that, but there that is. The Knights Templar were the Knights. And they, wow. They literally created a false flag attack on God. And they even used God's flag. Think about that. This is really where I hear it all the time. People that hate the Abrahamic religion. The Crusaders were really mean in the name of Jesus. You think these were Christians? You think the CIA of the Freemasons were Christians? No. They were told by the devil that there was the riches of Solomon underneath the Temple Mount. And so they got together, a very skilled group of assassins, and they went to the Holy Land under the cover of protecting pilgrims going from Europe to Jerusalem. They started the banking system there. It was so dangerous going on this pilgrimage. People would get ransacked all the time. They would get robbed. And so they set up this checkpoint at the beginning when you left Europe. You go see the bank of the Freemasons, and they would make an inventory of your monies, basically, and then they would wire to Jerusalem how much money you were taking with you, and then you could travel without worrying about them taking your whole, gypsies or whatever, taking all of your money, which is probably also the Freemasons anyways. And they would charge you interest. What a deal. Hey, we'll protect you for a small fee, right? They go to Jerusalem, pillaging all the way in the name of Jesus, with Jesus's insignia on their shirt. Which is the definition of a false flag attack. Attacking your enemies with the flag that you want to be the bad guy. And they still talk about this 1,600 years later, however long ago it was. Sorry, I don't know the date. Maybe 1,000, 1,400, whatever year. Somebody can vet that for me. Long enough ago that I don't know. Anyways, so we pick the story up. The Knights Templar are killing people in the name of Jesus, right? They go to Solomon's temple and they uncover his gold. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold, which is the bankroll, the capital that they needed to go back to Europe and start what ends up being the Federal Reserve Bank and this old banking money system. And they start financing wars on both sides. They didn't care who wins. They financed the whole thing. Napoleon was involved at one point. They played a game of manipulate the media and make money on it in both ways. Big shock. So anyways, through coercion, through having slightly more information than the public, they went in, took the money, killed a bunch of people in the name of Jesus, came back, set up the world banking. This is important. How did we get here? This is how we got here. Fast forward a little bit later. Well, actually, let me finish that thought really fast. The Catholic Church and them had issues. The Catholic Church wanted to be in charge. They wanted to be in charge. The Catholic Church owed them so much money that the Catholic Church decided to kill them all in order to get away with the amount of money that they owed they could have never paid back. So they got them all together on a Friday, on a fateful Friday, and they wiped out the whole crew. Everybody except for William Sinclair. Wiped them all out. And it was on Friday the 13th, which is why we still consider it an ominous day, because these people run the show. It's an unlucky day because they almost vanquished our whole group. Well, at this point, they can't continue to do these atrocious things in public. They got too much power, so they literally went underground. This is where underground societies really start. Hellfire Club and the like. RCC are the incarnate breaking of the third commandment. Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, it's horrifying, but yes, I agree. So this underground group makes it harder to infiltrate because you have to go through a successive series of vetting, a process of vetting. 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree. Each one of these becomes more anti-human, anti-God. And your standard person goes, I would never do that. They go, fine, you can go. And the people that say, I'll do that, get in control and stay in control. And that brings us up to, I mean, we could continue on, with Kennedy being killed and the formation of the Federal Reserve Bank, and the New Deal and getting off the gold standard and that whole, I mean, there's obviously historically there's a ton you could get to, but what I want to fast forward to is 9/11, where they commit the largest scale satanic ceremony in the history of humanity. That might be a bold statement. I mean, the Holocaust was a big deal. It wasn't just satanic, though. That was multifaceted. But they execute 9/11, which is really the foundation piece to this new global government system that we have. It passed the Patriot Act. It was a human sacrifice on a large magnitude. They lit the Pentagon on fire. And they started the whole see something, say something deal. I'm going to set the Bible down there. And see something, say something is really important because people were so traumatized by this day. They never wanted this to happen again. So what did the government say? Spy on your neighbor. This is where we get the domestic terrorist idea, which is important. We're getting into this bigger point of why that was important. It goes back to my TikTok account and everybody's TikTok account being canceled. But it creates these maniacs feast on the goodwill of man, right? I want to protect my neighbor. I want to live. I want to have my family. I want to just have my normal life. Well, something bad happened and you have ownership in this thing that happened and you have to stop it from happening again. And the way you do that is you watch your neighbors. What if they're the ones planning to fly planes into buildings? What a joke, right? Anyways, but it happened. I'll never forget a news clip of a lady who got a vaccine for her, a microchip, RFID chip for her whole family. And she said, whatever I have to do after 9/11, whatever I have to do to keep my family safe. Like, chip your family? Not you, Chip. Yeah. Yep. Why? Because in a traumatizing situation like that, you look for answers. You look for the answers, and the answers are given by the people who create the traumatizing situation, the Hegelian dialectic. We all know this. And they substitute the reality for their solution, which is a lie because they're their father, the devil. Anyways, we start normalizing this idea of policing one another. And at that same time, political correctness started really coming around. And why? Watch this. Because you had a bunch of sycophant, power-hungry, mainly white guys who were terrible people. They would advance sexually on women. They would take what wasn't theirs. And they were atrocious. They were doing terrible things. But as the devil does, he took the terrible things that they were doing and he made us guilty for it, right? The population. This is terrible. Sexual harassment's happening. This happens because you say these things like this. So we have to be very politically correct and not say the wrong thing because this leads to that. Your standard guy working at the gas station wasn't doing the bad thing. It was these, the elites. They always do this thing terribly, and then they blame us for it. And they tell us to watch each other to make sure we don't do the thing that they're actually doing. So PC goes into hate speech, right? The slow progression as they turn up the heat, the frog boils in the pan. Hate speech turns into this last political climate where after a group of people didn't trust the election, the whole media circus show of domestic terrorism and that 1/6 is worse than 9/11. I shared that in that video, and that people just can't be trusted to say what they want to anymore, because if they say what they want to, they're going to do something crazy like not trust the government. Can't have that. And that created this climate where anyone who is trying to stand up for the truth is now a threat. And the devil's system, as we're seeing, is entirely based on lies. Misinterpreting, twisting what God says, getting man to kill themselves and destroy themselves. The whole system is based on lies. And so if you speak the truth, you're a threat to their system. You're a threat to the system. And as this tyranny comes into full bloom, anyone representing the truth is going to be seen as the enemy, because these children have been indoctrinated to believe that intelligence is conformity, and that what's important is fitting in and doing the right thing. And the right thing right now is being subservient. So this gets us to coronavirus, basically. I know I skipped around a little bit there, but they made it. They made coronavirus. They made it in the lab. They made it with components of HIV. These elite sycophants in their bioweapon labs melded it. They hybridized it with a fungus that's very sticky. I don't know if you know this or not, but the actual coronavirus has a adjuvant, a binding agent that is funga. It's fungal in nature. Excuse me. And what it does is it makes it sticky, where when you wash your hands, it doesn't necessarily come off because it actually grips. It grips to your, it adheres to your body. So they build this thing, the most contagious thing they could make, mix it with AIDS and whatever, and they release it on the population. Perfect timing, obviously, for reasons I won't get into, but uh-oh. My agent's talking to me. Mom? He said use more code words. Oh. Yeah, I should use more code words. I'm kind of, you're not going to like to hear this, but I feel like I got a chip on my shoulder. That's the second chip reference. I just don't want to be afraid. I just want to say the thing and see how long I can get away with saying it until we get enough people on the platform that we can say whatever we want to. So I appreciate it, though. I will. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Control the mouth. Okay, so in order to really pull off this white horse Bill Gates, William the Conqueror, medical tyranny, this couldn't just be a cold. It had to be wicked. God made our immune system so strong that they weaponize this thing. I hear that they only have it up to like level 1 and it goes to 10 and they can make it much worse, which I'm sure that's their plan, is to just keep varianting this thing until it's actually wiping us out to whatever 500 million people, whatever their end game is. But anyways, they create this thing, they release it, they don't tell anybody that it's released, they make it a political thing, blah blah blah. Then watch what they start doing. This is really an important part of this that I wanted to get to. They start as the trauma brain tries to reconcile this new reality. People are dying. This is horrific. What do? They come up with their own narrative, right? They start releasing the narrative, and the narrative is this. See if you guys remember this. You kind of have to go back in your memory files. Before the masks even came out, the first thing they said was, be afraid and stay indoors. Do you remember that? I remember reading an article that said you couldn't go to the beach because the ocean was a petri dish for coronavirus. It's so ridiculous, even saying that out loud now. Common corona with HIV and SARS. Yeah, I don't know. You keep getting pulled into it, Chip. I apologize. So they say stay inside and be afraid, right? Be afraid and stay inside. And what we need is vitamin D. And through placebo, we need to be bold and not afraid, right? So the first thing that they tell us is an absolute lie. Absolute lie. And then they start with this whole mask debate. Who says you should? Who says you shouldn't? Fauci says you should. It's effective. It's not effective. I know a lot of you guys know this, but people that'll watch this later maybe don't. The reason for the mask, in addition to the hiding emotions and trying to ruin the psychological, emotional health of children and getting us to be automatons, and, God gave us so much expression in our face intentionally. We read so well what people are thinking, and our human attachment and empathy in large part is in reading someone's face. If your wife ever does this, you're in trouble. You might not even know it if she's got a mask on. You need that connection with your wife when she's really mad at you and gives you the look. I can't do the look. I'm not a wife. Anyway, so you get this emotion cloaking, 6 feet apart, 18 months, 18 weeks to flatten the curve, which is 666. We see all this kind of thing. But the big victory that had to happen with the mask is getting you to believe in a pseudoscientific solution that was in reality a detriment to your health and your getting it or not getting it. They had to get you, the whole trust the science thing. This really came out then. The whole mask debate is the same debate as the vaccine. It started with the mask. And this incrementally introduced us to this idea. I remember telling our neighbors who were independent, I think is what their political affiliation is. You got to wear a mask. They would say, you got to wear a mask. And I would say, I'm fine, whatever. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I believe in freedom. And my concern with the mask is that eventually it's not going to be a mask. It's going to be look, I used a code word, one of these. Hello, Steph. The old timers here would tell people when they were sick, caught rash, and so on, to go swim in salt water. Yeah, salt is an antibacterial. It's super important. Don't go in the ocean, right? It's constantly them selling the lie as truth. It's constantly them spinning the solution with the poison. It's what it's always going to be. They're of their father, the devil. This is the same situation as the serpent in the garden. It's going to be the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Anyways, wear a mask, right? The mask is going to save you. Well, in fact, the mask is making people sick. Steph, everybody in here is just getting called out. Staph infections, all kind of other bacteria and such. Would, if they took these masks and tested them, unspeakable things that you're putting right against your face, not stopping COVID, the coronavirus, whatever, cell, viral, whatever, spike protein, whatever it is, would go right through the mask. It's not going to be stopped. Anyways, whatever. The point is they were trying to get you to believe a false science. They basically said you have to believe this. If you don't use the mask, you're anti-human. You don't understand your role. You're bad. Wear the mask, right? Mask mandate. You have to have a mask to go to work. You have to have a mask to go to school. And this just same kind of thing. Staph infection. I'm glad you're not in a tornado. That's good. It's important for you to believe, or not even believe. You don't have to believe it to comply with the pseudoscience of the mask, which ends up being the exact same narrative of the, it's the same thing. It's good for you. It's going to fix it. It's going to save everything. It's not. It's potentially bad for you. People are potentially dying. It's not affecting, if you have Delta, it's bad for you. Like, people are in the hospital in droves that have been fully, So they wouldn't have gotten you to do that. It's 1010 p.m. on 1010. It's brilliant. Hashtag we're in the Matrix. So you use the mask. You believe that. It's mandated. You accept that. Then when this comes out, same thing. And here's the next part, which is where this goes and gets, to me, next level diabolical. They're coming for the children now. They've already done this in multiple countries. The children don't get, in any kind of severe way, COVID. They don't need a VACCINE. Yet, they want to force this. They want to force you to get it yourself, to get your job, to keep your job. And they want your child to get it in order for them to go to school. So think about this. If school is what I believe it to be, as an indoctrination camp, and it just makes people totally sheep and complicit, whatever. Now, as a parent, you have to decide, am I going to make my kid have this thing, force it in them in order to have the school thing? Obviously, the answer is there. You don't do it, whatever it means. Be homeless, live with your parents. You can't let your kids have this. And I just wonder, I think we all have a feeling that, like, when that is fully executed and the children are fully, I know they're doing it. This is the thing, you guys. It's not, I titled this, How Did We Get Here? And, if you don't know history, you don't know how slick the devil has been. You don't understand the end game. My buddy, who's an insider, he did a tech conference for Schwab and Co. or some other highfalutin elites like a year ago, and they were talking about how important the VACCINE is to their agenda, basically. And my buddy called it the Trojan horse, and him and I were talking today. Do you guys know the story of the Trojan horse? Basically, somebody would gift them. I think that's the origination. Would gift an army or gift a people group a big wooden horse, and they're like, "Oh, this is great! Exactly what I needed is a big wooden horse. We're gonna have a big party about this horse." They would let the horse in to the inside of the gates of the castle and let down the drawbridge, and they would go in there and be like, "Oh, everybody's partying. Oh, I got this horse." And then the doors open, and here comes the virus. The people, the military that are now inside of the walls and take down the castle from the inside. And that's what this is. But why? Right? Why would they do this? This is an opportunity for me to do a screen share. I tried to show this one night, and what caused a ban on TikTok, but this is why. This is the devil who has been behind these governments, behind the thing that happened in the garden, and behind the flood, and behind Babel, and behind trying to tempt Jesus, and behind the Crusaders, and behind all these things. This is the end game. This is what they're looking for. Once I get good at this is going to be really cool. It's going to be a little bit better. Is this better than the iPad, you guys? Trying to make sure that the sound works. All right, you guys ready?
I met Rockefeller through a female attorney I knew who called me up one day and said one of the Rockefellers who liked the video called Mad as Hell, and he'd seen the video and wanted to meet me and knew I was running for governor of Nevada. So sure, I'd love to meet him. And I met him and I liked him, and he was a very, very smart man. And we used to talk and share ideas and thoughts. And he's the one who told me 11 months before 9/11 ever happened that there was going to.
In case I missed that or didn't have it playing in time, the guy that Aaron Russo... Well, let me go back a little bit. This is Aaron Russo. If you guys know who Aaron Russo is, you definitely get a bonus point in your conspiracy bank. Aaron Russo made the movie The Temple of Doom. He discovered Barbara Streisand, I believe, made a ton of money in the 80s. Like the kind of money that the elites are interested in. He had the kind of influence and money that the elites were excited about. So they started courting him. This individual is Nick Rockefeller. Nick Rockefeller's guy said, "Do you want to meet him?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to meet Nick Rockefeller. It's a big deal." And Nick Rockefeller starts testing him. That's how these people do this. They're very cordial. They're inviting. They invite you to their soiree. You have to wear a mask. You have to whatever. And they test you because this is a free will simulation. And so the test was, this is what we're doing. Are you interested? And you'll see Aaron Russo says, "No, why would I do this?" And Aaron Russo went the other way, and he made a movie called Freedom to Fascism, exposed the lie of the Federal Reserve System. If you guys haven't watched Freedom to Fascism, please do. Chloe reminded me, I'll post it on Discord. It's so important. It's like in our certified conspiracy class, it's going to be like one of the first things you have to watch because it's brilliant. Anyways, Russo makes Freedom to Fascism, exposing the tyranny, and gets a fast acting cancer and dies in like 3 months or something. And everybody's sure that they weaponized it, which actually goes back to the Dr. Mary's monkey thing, which I also want to do a piece about. Lee Harvey Oswald and Dr. Mary's monkey. You guys should look that up. I should share that on Discord. Crazy story. Sorry, ADD brain. So anyways, what happens is Nick Rockefeller tells Aaron Russo the plan, and Aaron Russo goes, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Why would you do it?" And listen to what the plan is.
Going to be an event Never told me what the event was going to be, but there was going to be an event, and out of that event, we were going to invade Afghanistan to run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We were going to invade Iraq, to take over the oil fields, establish a base in the Middle East, and make it all part of the New World Order. And we go after Chavez in Venezuela. And sure enough, later 9/11 happened, and I remember he was telling me how how you're gonna see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these places, and there's gonna be this war on terror, which is no real enemy, and the whole thing is a giant hoax, but it's a way for the government to take over the American people.
He told you it was going to be a hoax.
Oh yeah. There's no question. He says, there's going to be war on terror. And he's just laughing. There's no... Who are we fighting? I mean, why do you think 9/11 happened and then nothing's happened since then? Do you think that our security is so great here that these people who pulled off 9/11 were able to, can't knock down another plane? Come on, it's ridiculous. 9/11 was done by people in our own government and our own banking system to perpetuate the fear of the American people and to subordinating themselves to anything the government wants them to do. That's what it's about, and to create this war, this endless war on terror. And that's why and that was the first lie. And the next lie was going into Iraq, to get Saddam Hussein out with his weapons of mass destruction. That was the next lie.
So this is why I covered those videos at the end of my first account's run on TikTok. Those who don't understand their history are doomed to repeat it. And people just don't understand that because what's happening is I'm old enough, Rich is definitely old enough, Chip is old enough. My buddy I was talking to today, we saw these things. This was common knowledge. This video used to be on YouTube. You can't find it. I found it through DuckDuckGo, and I'm pirating it onto YouTube. But we all knew this. This is the thing, the war on terror. The Bushes were involved. That guy on TikTok the other day, which is why I did the Bush video, President Bush, I don't think he called him that. George Bush, you lied. You got people killed. You lied. You lied. There was no weapons of mass destruction. This whole thing was planned. The whole thing was planned. Think about that. You think that they knocked down these buildings and nothing ever happened again? The guy that was supposed to have done it denied having done it. The war on terror. That's a war on an ideal. It's like declaring war on the boogeyman, right? War on terror, people in caves. Pat Tillman knew about this. This is why they shot Pat Tillman in cold blood. And what this man is saying, God rest his soul, is so important. Because how did we get here? 9/11 played a role in this. And when I made those videos and people said, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you don't know, you're an idiot. I'm like, dude, you're 20. You didn't see it happen. All you're reading is the history book. And intelligence isn't complicity. And just like Gary Oldman was trying to get the Bible to stamp it out, once you get rid of the Bible, once you get rid of the truth, people just buy this lie. And we're at a place where our society believes that conformity is intelligence, that trusting the system is cool. Think about that with the whole woke culture. Trusting the system is cool. Yeah, that's really punk rock. Listening to the president and doing whatever he says and supporting freedom, censoring people and supporting medical tyranny. You got a major problem societally when God is the enemy, the Bible is a fairy tale, the government is the good guy, intelligence is conformity, and we think it's normal to police ourselves. And at least 2 of those, if not 3 of them, are a direct result of the events of 9/11, which was a satanic ritual.
Now, specifically, this was a little over 6 years ago,
This was
11 months before 9/11.
Yeah.
And Nick Rockefeller, who's a lawyer, he's become your friend over the previous years, and he's saying to you that there's going to be this big event, and then out of that we're going to have a war on terror, and it's just going to go on and on.
Right. An endless war without any real enemy. That you can never define a winner.
And did he say that it's going to be perfect because you can't define an enemy? It just goes on and
Yeah,
on?
because you can't define a winner. There's no one to beat, so it goes on and on forever. And they can do whatever they want. They scare the hell out of the American public. Look, this whole war on terror is a fraud. It's a farce. It's very difficult to say it out loud because people are intimidated against saying it. Because if you say it, they want to make you into a nutcase. The ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is giving me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
Welcome to 1985. 1984 was so last year. Now I get it. It's not exactly like Russo said it was going to be. And this is why I say it's complicated. You know, I say this quite a bit. It's complicated. This reality has to do with potentiality. That's why the matter that makes up this reality is in a state of superposition, an undetermined state of potential until human consciousness affects it. And I'm not sure what we did to oppose or upend or divert. So they had to reconfigure their plans. But this was 6 years before. This is 1995. He was told about this. And if Russo was alive today, he would be banging a drum. He'd be banging this drum. You guys, the devil's building his one world system, and it's even worse than the chip. They did it through this white horse tyranny, medical tyranny. And everybody's consenting. And if you oppose it, you're the enemy. And people are crying for a social CREDIT score system because you can't have people running around questioning the government, questioning the science. So that's today. That's why we're not doing this on TikTok. And tomorrow we won't be able to do this on YouTube. And the next day we won't be able to do it on the internet. Because we represent the truth. And the devil's system is based on lies, and it's the elixir. So what do? We serve God. We believe the Bible. We do the things in the inverse of what the devil says, which is what God says. Did I not tell you what to do? Be strong and have a good courage. Serve God, not the system. Jesus says you can't serve God and mammon. Serve God. We all know that the VACCINE is a problem, even if it's just a philosophic problem. What if it's an immune changing I am legend problem down the road? You know, I know of people. I don't actually know a single person that I was in contact with, but friends of friends, multiple ones, some of them Christians, who were so afraid they lined up to get it, and they're dead now, and the virus probably wouldn't have killed them. Who did they serve, God or mammon? Jesus says, I think it's Jesus or Paul, do not love your life unto death, something like that. You know, you're just going to do everything you can to not die. Where's that in the Bible? Where is that in the Bible? You know, this heaviness that we're all feeling that I started the show with. Something's happening, I think, in the spiritual world. It's almost like like what's causing these volcanoes, like a solar flare or magnetic thing or something. It's like something large is happening. Hopefully it's not another false flag attack or something, but what do? We serve God. We do research on how to equip our bodies to fight this kind of thing. We don't be afraid. We be in the sun. We don't worry about aging. We get sun on our skin. We pull our kids out. We pull our kids out of school. You don't vaccinate. Don't that word them so they can comply and be in school. See if I can find this. Chloe, if you're on that Discord meme that you shared today, I don't remember where it was, but I want to show this. It's really funny. Let me see if I can find it really quick here. I think it's in memes. Science? I don't know. Chloe, let me know where it is. The one with the idiot thing going to school. Let me see where this is here. I'll get better at using the multimedia thing. If your Chip says if your kids are in public school, they can vax your child without your permission. Some states have already started doing it. All started with deception. Definitely the days of no, yep. That's super rebellious to do exactly what you're told to do. Yeah, I'm woke. How ironic, right? How ironic that they can do this. They call good evil and evil good. Woke means asleep. Being, whatever, we know that. The saints loved their lives not unto death. Wow, thank you for getting the line right, Amanda. The saints loved their lives not unto death. That's a stark contrast to these fearful people. I got a buddy in town who's, I would call him a Sunday Christian, but he also fears God. You know, you can be both. He's a little, I think, excited about brick and mortar, and the pastor, but he means well and he serves God. I'm sure he's a better Christian than I am, so I'm not judging, but he knew that he knew that it was bad. And he got really mad at his aunt and uncle for taking it. And the uncle almost died. And he goes, where are Christians at with this? Hello, Jen. All right. So we're at a place now where we have to choose God or mammon. I don't know what it means. I'm a big believer in downsizing, lowering overhead. You know, I talked earlier about urbanization. We're designed We're designed to put our hands in the soil and build. This is why people love camping. It's so silly. I was thinking about this today. Like, I'm going to go camping. I'm going to go into the woods and I'm going to build a shelter. I'm going to build a shelter and I'm going to sleep under the stars. Yeah, you should do that. That's what you were designed to do, not be in some densely packed urban jungle connected to a 5G grid. Like when you're camping, my wife and I were in the mountains of Colorado before we moved out here, and we were walking around and just immersed in Colorado, mountain wilderness, and she found wild strawberries, and this is embarrassing. I was 42 at the time, and I had never found a wild anything and eaten it. And I was on my hands and knees munching wild strawberries like a crazy person, going, this feels so right. This feels so good. And we're supposed to want to do that, right? So, if you can get a little bit of country and live in a tiny home or buy an old crappy farm home and try and fix it up or whatever, come live with us. Whatever. I think that's part of it, is getting out of the system, pulling your kids out. If we would have lived this reality the right way, we would have believed that this reality was built for us and that we're dynamic with a specific skill set. And if we didn't have all this trauma to deal with of our crazy parents doing terrible things and whatever other things happened, we could have just become the best version of ourselves and not even had to worry about the kind of things that I'm probably talking about. But, recalibrate, make God the master. Get back into nature a little bit. Don't worship nature. Don't worship it. Worship the creator, not the creation. Get in the dirt with your hands, these kind of things. But you don't need to get the degree and set up your life like this. Look, you guys, we're not going back. We're not going back to that old place. We're not going back to 2019. Hey, Brandon, good to see you, brother. I crave going back to the way we were supposed to live, says Jen. Yeah, well, you do it better than most people, sister. Yeah, that's it. This whole autoimmunity stuff that we deal with is that anxiety is supposed to be fleeting. You're supposed to be really stressed out, and your body reorients all of its faculties in it for a short burst where you can have strength and you can have speed and you can overtake the animal or like win in war. And then when it's over, well, you either die, which is really relaxing, I think, when it's done. You like, wow, that was crazy. I'm gonna go bang it. I'm gonna go back and hang out with my wife. That was what I was trying to say. I'm gonna go back and hang out with my wife and my kids by the fire and look at the stars. Like, that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, whatever. But instead, we're in the synthesized, repurposed, air-conditioned world where it's always 70 degrees and we're stressed out of our mind. The brain can't tell the difference between trying to get your reports done and your emails done and a bear getting you. Your body, when you get embarrassed, some people get embarrassed when they talk and their face gets flush. That's a physiologic reaction. Your body goes into fight or flight, right? That's when that is. When you are doing the email thing or trying to pay your bills or whatever, you're in that same place. It's supposed to be fleeting, but it's aggregated 40, 50 hours a week, whatever. With social media, it's 100 hours a week, blue lights and trying to keep up on your messages and whatever. It's relentless, right? This like totally repurposed reality. So we got to get back a little bit. We got to lower our overhead. Serve God. I'm a big fan of trying to observe Sabbath. Oh, fake plastic trees. That's a good one. That reminds me of fake plastic plans. What are they to save themselves? What is that line? I don't remember how that line goes exactly. But with a city with a plan to kill themselves, whatever, that feeds into climate change, which I was going to get into. I don't think I'm going to do it tonight, but this is definitely part of it. Anyways, yeah, I'm not going to get into climate change. So the next thing is, and this is what I want to end it on, it's going to take a couple minutes, so class isn't quite out yet, but the next phase, we are in the good times create soft men. No, we've left that. We're in the soft times create hard. Soft men create hard times. That's where we're at in the cycle. And what's coming? I love that Richard Flood. Thermostats kill our physiology. Yep, climate controlled. What's coming is the doubling down of this new world order that Nick Rockefeller didn't even know about, and it's called transhumanism and AI. And what happens with this story every time is that they just can't stop themselves until they so badly repurpose God's order that God has to destroy it. He has to hit reset. And the next wave is this medical tyranny. Everybody's mandated to have this, total control, turn off your chip. We know that the digital patent for the cryptocurrency body thing with the quantum dot tattoo and the great reset and the destruction of the economy, and why they're pouring all this money into stimulus money and causing hyperinflation and screwing up the supply chain, and all of these things is to synthesize this destruction where we're totally dependent on the system, if we're not already, but that's where this is going. And then the last phase is to get rid of everything that was the residual old world order that we were in. And they are of their father, the devil. And so the devil wants to create life. And so he's creating AI. And AI has been prophesied to kill us, which totally makes sense that it would do that. It would say, yeah, humans are the problem. We got to take care of them. Transhumanism, where somebody said earlier in the chat, as it was in the days of Noah, this is what it's going to be. As it was in the days of Noah, we're going to be into we're already there with CRISPR technology and gene editing software and getting rid of birthing of women, what do they call them, birthing people, and chest feeding and all of this thing. It's an absolute affront to God, and it's just we're at the end of the level. We're at the end of the level. So here's what I encourage us all to do is try to get to know the creator. If you're a conspiracy theorist and the Aaron Russo video, the Federal Reserve, that the COVID's bad, whatever, you can't trust them. What makes you think you can trust them about your origin story, about the nature of this reality, about what we're doing here? And why would you possibly believe the version that they are giving you when you can't believe anything else they're talking about? And how could you possibly believe the version that they're giving you that this doesn't make any sense and the Bible's a fairy tale when the Bible is unfolding right in front of our eyes every day, according to plan, exactly like a game, like a script in a football game. It's like a script in a movie. It's just we're page by page, we're unfolding this thing. And we may be close enough to the end that there's not a whole lot of time to make any huge changes. So let's choose God. Let's be fearless. Have I not commanded thee? All right. I think I'm pretty well done with this part of it. A lot of information there from the garden to here. If you missed the first part, this will be on YouTube. It posts immediately. Forgive the first 10 minutes of us trying to sort through this. Obviously, we're going to have to grow this. A big goal is to, if you guys don't mind, figure out how to film. Like if you can get this on your desktop and film it with your phone. I want to do TikTok lives so people who want to find, the VOR live show can find it. Once we get, this is kind of like at the beginning of TikTok, we got 12 people in here. Thank you guys so much for being here. 14 people. That's about where we started on TikTok, and we got to 100 or whatever. Once we push the algorithm enough that YouTube starts playing this to the public, then we can get the people in here that are going to come in and want to have this discussion, which obviously Bill Gates mosquito. It's too late in the season. It's funny, the mosquitoes up here at the end of the year, they become really slow and kind of pathetic. Let's see here. Thanks, Flood. Love you, brother. My friend's cousin doesn't believe in the rapture or the tribulation. Have you heard of that? It confuses me. Is he a Christian? I have heard of that. Yeah, it's probably that he doesn't believe. If he's a Christian, if you would clarify. Yeah, by the way, shoot me any questions you guys would have. Jen, if your friend's cousin is a Christian and doesn't believe in those, just clarify for me. Because obviously if he's not a Christian, he's like, yeah, I don't believe in that. But if he's a Christian, he doesn't believe in it, then basically what that is they believe that Revelation happened in right after Jesus died, and Nero was the Antichrist. Supposedly he's a pastor and a strong man of faith, which I find confusing. Yeah. Yeah. Send him to the show. I'd love to talk to him about it. I mean, it's going to be the end user makes that decision for themselves, what they believe, obviously, but that teaching that he's talking about is that Revelation already happened, and it had to do with the 7 churches at the time. There were 7 actual churches, and Nero did the abomination of desolation and blah, 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 justify what they believe. I think it's nonsense, but that's, I think, their angle. What did they even say about your TikTok? They don't say anything, Brandon. They just say you're fired. Thanks for your... You guys, I never really shared this, but some of those videos had 2,500 hours of watch time. Like, I was doing the math one day. Like, human eyeballs on the videos were like a lifetime. It's crazy. Or however many, 2 years worth of watch time or something on some of the videos. I mean, we provided... They were going to get it somewhere else, but TikTok basically said, thank you. Here's a kick in the pricks. And we had $100 in the creator fund. That's gone. All the data's gone. They wiped out my account, my wife's account, my backup account. We can't get on with our phones. She made an account on a desktop and then tried to log in on her phone, and it shut down that account too. We've tried VPNs. I don't know. It could be biometric. At this point, I'm not sure. I did create a backup, but it's on an iPad. And I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know how to make a TikTok video on an iPad, unfortunately. So I had hope that it was going to be reversed. I had a temporary suspension, which is why last week I wasn't doing anything on it. It said temporary suspension, so I was waiting. I was giving it a week to see. And then I logged in again, and it said permanent, so I'm a week behind building. So yeah, you guys, please interact. I posted a new video. Interact, share, comment. We're going to get that other account to 1,000, and then I'll go live on it on this, and then they're going to start shutting it down. I'm just not going to have an attachment to it. And like, as much as I want to make the actual content, because I love doing it, I might not spend all that time. I don't know. To be determined. But the long-term play, yeah, the IP is banned. The devices are banned. It's a big deal. Yep. But here's the thing though, Brandon, and also Amanda, if we get back on TikTok, it's going to go down again. This is the reality of it. It's just going to keep going down. You can't speak the truth. And, YouTube is even temporary. I hate to lose this account. but I understand the consequence of playing this game. So what we're doing, and I'm making this declaration, we're building VOR radio. The name might change. I will do 3 or 4 shows. They'll pick up in intensity. There's just a weird heaviness going on right now. I'll get into more light things. This was like look at all the paint in my hand. I promise it's paint and not sour cream or something. You should have seen Chloe and I putting this together right before the live. We were painting right up to the last minute. My son changed the batteries in the light. We put the bric-a-brac up, whatever. What am I saying? Yeah, we're going to build VOR radio. The information needs to get out. It's going to be a standalone platform. Right now, you've got Canary Cry Radio. They're pretty good. You've got Alex Jones. He's good. This is a different version. And the goal is going to be to engage with non-believers in conspiracy and the Bible and have that discussion in real time. We just need to build it back up. So, 17 people, that's a pretty good start. That's more than we started with on TikTok. And I'm really confident, you guys, when people go to a live stream and they see us on this platform, then in the chat we can say, go to the Discord, we'll share the link. Once we get people into the Discord, once we'll build the community up, get like-minded, get, even people that have a difference of opinion, whatever. My goal for VOR radio is that we're going to start off 9 to 11, 6 nights a week. And then I want to do an 11 o'clock to like 1 a.m. show. That'll be like more of a coast to coast kind of show. And then I'm going to do health stuff. Rich is going to have a show. I want Chip to have a show. We have a dynamic group of people. I want Steph to have a show. Liz, if she wants to have a show. Jen, if she wants to have a show. And we're just going to constantly stream because this community, we're all like-minded people. We're going to constantly stream information outside of a system that can get shut down. So that's the goal. We're going to build TikTok back up, but I put 6 months into that. We all put 6 months into that, and now it's gone, and it'll happen again. Jesus is God. Jesus is King is kicked off again. CPT got kicked off. It's just what it is. Forget it. I mean, use it to get people into the standalone thing that we're working on. So prophecy repeats, i.e. Passover in Egypt. Jesus fulfilled Passover again than his death. Yes, it does, DJ, PJ. It's I don't want to marginalize this reality because it's so beautifully simple and complex at the same time. But you understand that the story of the Jewish people is our story. We're Adam and Eve and Moses and Jeremiah and Jonah and the apostles. It fully encompasses the entirety of the gamut of emotions and potentialities of the human existence in these real stories. And unfortunately, we're just on this repeat cycle. I don't mean unfortunately, it's new to each one of us. It's just in this, what I believe is a potentially simulated 1s and 0 reality. It's just the same, if I went right now and turned on Super Mario World, it would be level 1-1, and you'd have to go through the whole thing. And it'd be slightly different, but it's going to be very similar. And why, if the devil hates us, which he does, because we have this gift of free will and God loves us, and the devil wants to destroy us, which also hurts God. Many reasons why he would want to hurt us. If he hurts us and it's effective by using X tactic, why would he ever stop? Would he show mercy? No. So whatever tactic works, this thing works. You guys listen to me. Trauma, problem, reaction, fear. How do I respond? Solution, their agenda. It's the Hegelian dialectic. It will always work. It will always work. We're never, man thinks they're smart, right? We're smart. We're smart. This lie that we're smarter than our ancestors is a joke. We're pathetic compared to our ancestors. They were pathetic compared to their ancestors. This evolutionary idea that we're getting better is the inverse of the truth, aka a lie. We're not getting better. And unfortunately, we're exactly becoming the kind of people that are going to force God to judge this reality. So yes, history repeats itself over and over. Don't sin, I sinned. What's the solution? More sin. More sin begets more sin. Now you become a leader with your sin and you attract more people and it goes. It's always going to play out. The psychopaths who lack normal human empathy are going to take more than they should, and trusting people are going to trust them and they're going to prey on your goodwill. And I mean, whatever, control the food supply, control the government, control the media, get rid of the idea of God or repurpose it in some terrible religious situation. Just it's going to happen over and over and over and over. So anyways, whatever, not to be detrimental or not to be fatalistic, but yeah. Did I receive your email? I saw one. I thought I responded to it, Brandon. Being forced underground, yeah. You know I'm always here for you. I'm at your side. Thanks, Brandon. God bless you, brother. Yeah, let's do it. This is it, you guys. We need to rise up. This is it. Like, we're not quitting. We're not quitting. And we're going to be able to rebuild this. You know, obviously I need your guys' help. Like you said, you'd be on my side, and I appreciate that. Share it. You know, thank you for being here and engaging. Don't obligatorily be here. Obviously, be here if you have time. Let it play in the background, whatever. Invite people. You know, if you guys are talking to people, I got this guy I want you to hear. We're going to talk about this thing, maybe specific to like my goal long term is to I want to make a calendar in Discord and plan what the conversation is going to be. Tuesday, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Wednesday is going to be this discussion. Thursday is going to be this discussion. Saturday is going to be this discussion. Sunday is going to be this discussion. If it's something that a friend would want to watch, bring them on. They might not have had TikTok. They have YouTube. Everybody has the link. And once we start building it again, where we can get some, atheists and agnostics in here, that's always fun too. And what's really cool, I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but in theory, I can actually bring people in. Chloe and I are going to have to figure that out. James Hardison showed us how to do it. Hopefully I didn't hide Chip. So eventually we're going to have a call-in show where I'll do, instead of a 2-hour message, I'll condense it down to an hour. And then, we'll see some comments, and then Chloe can bring him in and we can actually have a caller come in. Yeah, caller, you're on the line. Let's go have a discussion, whatever. So it'll be fun. And we're just going to keep pushing the information out, defending God in the information war. So any other questions, you guys? You want to talk about the studio? It's key. Never give up. Amen. How did you guys feel? I understand it's slower, but how did you feel about the format tonight? Were you able to access it on your phone? Could you let it play in the background? Is it okay to chat? How do you guys feel? I don't want to do too many more of these shows if it's not going to work on this format. Obviously, I know the show I feel good about what we're doing in the show, but just make sure the formatting's okay. How did you guys feel about that? If you can give me a little bit of feedback. Sounds awesome. Cool. Is it better than me talking in the bathroom and putting the iPad going? Putting the iPad going. I mean, that's a series of words. Let me show you something cool too that we can do. What I have to figure out how to be able to do is you guys, I'm gonna get a little bit fiery here. Watch this. This is gonna be awesome. Is that real brick walls? It looks like brick. Interesting. No, it's shiplap. It's real shiplap though, not like faux shiplap. Like a clapboard. Cool. Action. So yeah, it's shiplap. That was loud. Sorry. I built in this wall to run the electric and such. The bric-a-brac shelf, I was building that right before we went live. We got to figure out some other details, whatever, but we were scrambling right at the end. I got to get a desk because right now I've got like a faux desk, but I'm gonna get an L like executive desk, real serious, so I can get mad. You guys can't let me become Alex Jones. Yeah. It's super easy, like it. I do wish I could find a way to make it okay in the background like they do with Rumble. Oh yeah, Jennifer, I have the answer for you. I don't like the answer. The answer is, Chloe, do we have any extra YouTube slots? Or do we have maybe somebody using a YouTube slot that doesn't deserve it because they don't respond to our text thread or something? I don't know what the qualification would be. Anyways, if you do the $15 a month YouTube, which I hate giving them more money. Who is it? Okay. I guess they got to stay. I was going to try and give you a slot, but if you pay 15 a month, I think 4 or 6 people can be on it. How many people, Mom? So 4 people can be on it. And then there's no ads and you can let it play in the background. You can actually silence your phone, mute it or whatever, and it'll play in the background. So that's an option. It's kind of the only way to do it, unfortunately. Sweet. I think that's Melissa, right? With the MZ. Got to remember all these names, the new usernames. Cook dinner while listening. Cool. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I know it was a little bit slow. I could feel it too, but it's a heavy topic. Part of it is actually having lost that 6 months of work. Part of it is whatever spiritual, physical thing that we're all dealing with. And part of it's just looking at the devil's efficacy. I hate it. I don't want to look at that. So we'll have hopefully a more uplifting one next time. But yeah, you guys, let's try and get more people in here. So yeah, you think about who might want to be here that wouldn't have been on TikTok. Okay, yeah, Jen, I'll talk to you about it in Discord. Basically, it's a $15 a month premium YouTube whatever, and it allows you to download videos and play them in the background. So like at night, I have scripture playing almost every night in the background. You can just increases the functionality of it. Let's see. If you have an NVIDIA card in your computer, you can download a broadcaster and any pictures you want in the background. Why would I have a background pick, bro? I got a studio. Woo! And I think we can make it better. That's the goal. I've got to get more depth. I have to go further that way because I'm too close to this. And then this will become faded. See if I can do it. See how the VOR is kind of faded? That's called bokeh. If it was like up here, if this is what was in focus. Right? Then all that stuff in the background would be really, I guess I'll get closer. So if I was like up here, then all that in the background would be super faded, which is really cool. People like that. I'll just do it this way. Who needs a filter? Just do blur-o-vision. Anyways, yeah, I don't think I want a background particularly. Especially, I can stick scripture on the wall. This is from the operating system when we did the movie premiere of it. It's cool. Obviously, the certified conspiracy theorist. A10, that's something my brother made. Got the Bible code up there, the actual Bible. Luke, you guys, this is like Easter eggs for VOR stuff. My boy. Ooh. Whatever. You can't see it, but I got a certified conspiracy theorist t-shirt on top of the lamp down there. Just got to spice this up. And as the show gets bigger, people can send us stuff. We could do sponsors. VOR Radio is going to have sponsors. I'm excited about that. Affordable sponsorship so we can help fund the operation. And I'll pay my hosts when they do the show with us. So, Chip, when you do the show with us, I'll pay you when you do your night as soon as we get some revenues coming through. It's going to be an operation. It's going to be awesome. You know, the TikTok thing was a real wake up for me. You know, that was fun. That was like being young and partying, whatever. It was like, oh, this is great. And then it ended one day. And it'll keep ending. So TikTok has now become a feeder for this. TikTok exists in our reality to get people to this thing. So as soon as we get the same amount of people in here, it'll be the same experience, except for a better sound, and I don't have to do the iPad thing. I can do this. This will piss you guys off. You ready for this? This will be fun.
The Fox Propaganda Network's Tucker Carlson pushing a conspiracy with no legitimate proof that the FBI organized the January 6th Capitol attack. And the claim is already being picked up by some GOP lawmakers. Here's CNN's chief media correspondent, Brian Stelter.
When you assume you make an ass of you and me.
Tucker Carlson.
That was on my videos to watch later thing. Let's break this down really quick. We'll do kinds of video. Like, I can't wait to do the multimedia thing. We're going to watch flood videos, the Shroud of Turin videos, the operating system. It's going to be, it'll be good, you guys. But listen to this.
The Fox Propaganda Network's
The Fox Propaganda Network. The Fox Propaganda Network. And he says, the Fox Propaganda Network's Tucker Carlson. But it sounds like the Fox Propaganda Network Sucker Carlson. Listen to this.
The Fox Propaganda Network's Tucker Carlson pushing a conspiracy with no legitimate proof that the FBI organized the January 6th Capitol attack. And the claim is already being picked up by some GOP lawmakers. Here's CNN's chief media correspondent, Brian Stelter.
When you assume you make an ass of you and me.
That's news. Boy, that's news. Thanks, CNN. Good stuff right there. Oh man. "20-minute goodbye." Was this when did I say it was goodbye? I said it was chitty chatty time. Goodbye. Yeah. It's ridiculous, right? What a ridiculous thing. Ass. I mean, whatever. All right. Maybe I will say goodbye. 10-minute countdown. Yeah, but you can see the potential with the multimedia thing, right? When I do like the next time I do like the Disney princess discussion, what is love? Like I was thinking about this, Amanda in particular, you were here at the very beginning when I covered a lot of those first ones, but I want to go back and revisit some of those that I did on TikTok. They'll be different, of course, because they just kind of happen based on when I start disassembling this in my brain, and as hopefully the Holy Spirit would guide me. But um, being able to do the multimedia now and share it is going to be huge. Yeah, more professional. You sure it's better than the iPad? Backwards with my weird face backwards and it going. Yeah, no, it's going to be really good. We got to figure out some things like when I start the show, I want the lights off and only the VOR in the background. And I want to be able to figure, like right now, I've got the monitor just propped up all willy nilly, whatever. But yeah, it's going to be, yeah, that's the thing. And so what's going to be really cool is Chip will do a show. I think CPT will probably do a show. Romans will do a show. We'll go 9 to 11. That'll be the slot we have to fill. I'll do 4 days. Somebody else will do 2, or maybe I'll do 3 days and somebody else will do 3 days, and then we'll do Sabbath. I can actually just share my desktop, so I can put on my favorite scriptures, or we could put on the something like that and just let it play. So if you wanted to tune in, like what I want to do is get to the point where you don't have to, but that basically if you tune in at 9 o'clock to this station, to this YouTube channel, VOR Radio is going to do a show. Maybe it's something you want to. Maybe it's Rich doing a breathing thing. Maybe it's Jen talking about canning sustainability. Just going to throw you out there, Jen. I know you're super excited about that. Whoever, though, I mean, I believe in you guys so much. This family has shown me that it's a group. It's a dynamic Voltron group with all of us having, our part to play. Yeah, exactly, Amanda. That'll be awesome. Yeah. So, and this is posting to YouTube right now. It streams live and posts to YouTube, so it'll be up there tomorrow. Yep. And interacting will be huge. Again, I'm hoping my ADD brain doesn't do this very well, but I'm hoping to do basically 10, 15 minutes of hello, housekeeping, whatever, 45-minute lesson, an hour of interaction. And we can all kind of count on that. And Chloe can go through these messages as they come in. Instead of me watching the chat, I try and stay focused, and then we pull that up and we answer them. And then there's a way to bring them on to the actual show, which would be really cool. It'll be a call-in show. Yeah, we'll cover it all. Health, science, wellness. I want to do a news show. I'll do a news show. I don't do news because I can't do news on TikTok, because if I talk about the news, I get shut down. And eventually I'll get shut down on YouTube, and that's okay, because hopefully by the time we do, this is restream. This is a studio restream. This can be, I think we can put this right on the Wix channel. Chloe, did you find that out? Hey, Mom. Can we stream this to Wix? If we can stream this to Wix, it's a website, and the only thing that shuts us down ever is the internet going down.
YouTube is 5,
Right.
5 people.
YouTube is 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the 5th?
I don't know. You are the primary, so I can't look.
All right.
Oh, I guess I can.
Mixed bag of chips show. Yeah. You know what you have to teach, Chip. You know exactly what you need to teach. You did miss the live, so it's nice to finally read it. Cool. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah. It was a week off, a week fast. Yeah, be encouraged. We're encouraged. So, and I really, you guys, I know I've said this over and over, but this is the official first night of VOR radio. This is it. It's the first night of it on 101021. Couldn't have picked a better night. It's almost like God is in charge of this. And I think if everything went well, Steph didn't get raptured into a tornado, which is good. So, all right, guys, love you. No show tomorrow. Tomorrow is the patron only show, the $25 and up member show. So we'll be on Discord for that tomorrow. Probably no show on Tuesday. And then we're going to do Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday will be our first Sabbath. So we'll have something set up for Sabbath at 9 o'clock, 9 to 11. So ground floor of something beautiful. Thank you, Jen. That's awesome. God is good. Yeah, the goal is to defend the Creator, to create a place to speak His truth, to combat the lies of the enemy's system, to have fellowship, and to be guerrilla soldiers in the information war, because we're not struggling against flesh and blood, powers and principalities. It's really about the consciousness of man and how it reacts to this reality. And this whole thing we covered tonight is people having been manipulated by the serpent. So we choose God, right? As for me and my family, look at that. We choose God. Awesome, guys. I don't have to drive home late tomorrow. Stat holiday, so I actually get to be in the call the whole time. Cool. That's awesome. We got a couple new members as well. If Chloe and I are talking about this, if we end up with more than 8 or something in there, we're probably going to have to do a second night. So we're going to have to figure out that. That's why I'm not committing to a 4th show. I'm thinking 3 shows on here, 2 Discord lives, maybe 4 and 1. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out though. Oh, great group of people. Amen, Melissa. You guys make it. It's a family thing. Love you guys. We'll see you on Discord. And then we'll be on here hopefully with even a little bit higher production quality on Wednesday. So Johnny's gone tomorrow. I'd like to be able to jump in tomorrow. Can you send me the info to sign up? Chloe, did you see Jen's message? We'll make that happen, Jen. You'll be in there. You don't have to sign up or anything. She just changes your permission. You're already in Discord. So she just changes your permission. And then what will happen is on the Discord channel with your new permission, you'll see a channel that will be open. And the channel will be Thursday or a Monday night patron only group or something like that. And just like we all jumped in a couple of those meetings the other day, you can just jump in. You'll see all of our names there and you'll jump in. Yep. Everybody, yep. God bless you guys. Get some rest. Keep praying. See what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but we need to stay tuned in, okay? I know you guys know that. Oh, and also, this last thing I'll say, would love any feedback in Discord. Anything you guys think we should change, do, if I should wash the paint off my hand. Whatever. Let's get some, oh, no. Was that paint? Oh, I hope I didn't get paint on my shirt. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to get this paint off my shirt. I'm out of here. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you. End transmission.